What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here. Post game, Packers are 1-0. Detroit going home losers, including all those blue shirted fans we saw streaming out of Lambeau early. Mwah, chef's kiss way to begin the 2025 Green Bay Packers campaign. I mean, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a 27-13, and it wasn't that close thrashing of a team that had been the bully, had been the ones to come into Lambeau the last three contests and whoop up on the Packers, but good. Got a taste of their own medicine. And I said it on Watch Party. It was very, very heartening to see a Packers team that didn't go over the top trying to prove how physical they were or that they could be as physical as Dan Campbell's Lions, but they certainly brought a physicality that has not been a hallmark of these teams in these contests between the Packers and the Lions over the course of the last several seasons. Man, they whooped up on the Detroit Lions in pretty much every facet of the game. Clearly, they got a last-minute touchdown there to keep the score at least a bit more respectable. But do not mistake this for anything other than a dominating win from the Green Bay Packers. And certainly, you look at the Packers scoring 27 points, you hope you'll win most of those games when you're putting up close to 30 on any NFL defense. But the job the Packers defense did against the Lions, who do have a bevy of guys who can hurt you in a lot of different ways, never really came to fruition for the Lions. And then, of course, you have to talk about the arrival of Micah Parsons. From the moment he was introduced, the pop from the crowd, and then his ability to create havoc interior, on the edge. It didn't matter where he lined up. He certainly drew a ton of attention, which he still was able to affect the quarterback, but also open up other opportunities for his line mates. That's what we've been talking about since the trade happened. And I mean, right out of the gate, you saw the effect that he is going to have on the defensive side of the field. But man, look, Aiden Hutchinson, a phenomenal pass rusher in his own right. I don't think he sniffed the quarterback other than, the one cheap shot he gave him on the interception that was called back. But I don't think he, really had a legit opportunity to take Love down at any point in that game, mostly because of great work both by the guys up front, but also the protection scheme that LaFleur and company had in place. So it's not as easy as just add dominant rusher and then everyone else can feast. Those guys have to do their job. They have to win their one-on-ones. And whether it was Lucas Van Ness, whether it was Rashawn Gary, and hell, to me, the dagger in this game was Devontae Wyatt, smoking that guy, that guard, and getting to the quarterback to essentially put the game away. That was just an outstanding display up front. Really disciplined, great work all across the front. And I got something for you folks who were so worried about the secondary, and certainly we got a long way to go. Hopefully Nate Hobbs is available for Thursday night's game against Washington. But this is what we were talking about all throughout this week on Daily when we're talking about the effect that having a pass rush has on the guys in the back end. And yeah, you're going to give up a player or two here and there. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a slant or two, which, okay, you tip your cap and on you go. But he never hurt them. None of their weapons, none of these dynamic players ever really chewed them apart the way they have in the past, because the Packers kept collapsing the pocket, and they were able to do it with four rushers more often than not. I mean, you just go down the line on defense, and I thought there were a ton of really great examples of guys playing team defense, but also being productive. I mean, at one point, I think Edgerrin Cooper ended with 12 tackles, maybe 13. Quay Walker had a bunch of tackles for loss, should have had an interception, but that was a dominant performance on the defensive side of the ball. You got to think the Lions fans are going to start wondering about those coordinators. The Packers were able to march pretty easily in the first half, though. I thought they made some nice adjustments in the second half to kind of slow down what the Packers were doing. I mean, Packers came out to own this thing from the get-go. Love to see an opening drive touchdown. I mean, that throw to Tucker Kraft. Oh, outstanding down that left seam. Great catch by Kraft. Had to sky a little bit because obviously Love's got to get it over to defender, but that's the way you love to come out and start a game. Now, the biggest concern coming out of this victory is clearly the health up front on offense. Whether it was Zach Tom or Aaron Banks going out with an ankle injury. Got a short week, quick turnaround. You never know, but most likely you're probably not going to have those guys available on Thursday night. Going to have to do some juggling there up front. Hope everyone stays healthy throughout this Thursday night game. But that worry is for tomorrow. Tonight, it is time to enjoy a victory to open the 2025 season and start that march to Santa Clara to win a Lombardi trophy. Let's go, people. Let's get to your questions and comments because I know you got a bunch. No question about it. Hello to everybody in the comments. So good to see you. Starting with Eeyore number 1. What's up, Soder? How are you, man? Difference today was the catastrophic Packer mistake got wiped out by a flag. I did, however, come at the expense of Zach Tom. Still fun to watch. The one heartening thing is hearing Jordan Love say he thinks Zach's okay. Of course, he's not on the medical staff, what have you, but certainly you do hold your breath a little bit regarding his long-term availability, his long-term health. But yeah, that was a pretty catastrophic mistake in the making. Great play by Brian Branch on what should have been an interception if it hadn't been for a couple defensive penalties on the play. Kevin, what's going on, man? Fuck the Lions. That is all. Go Pack, go. Take all that tough guy shit back to Detroit. I feel the passion, man. I feel the passion. No doubt about it. The short diabetic. How are you? Thanks for the super chat. That's how you handle business. Lots of great things across the board. Incredibly impressed by the front four, especially Wooden and Wyatt. Go Pack, go, and cheers. Yeah, Colby Wooden, I thought he had a somewhat inconsistent game, but he certainly seemed to get better as the game went on, as he got more reps, probably got a little more comfortable. But I do think there were a number of times he really stood tall and did a really nice job when they tried to run at him in that A gap. And for the most part, I thought he held his own. And hopefully, the more he plays, the better he'll get, especially at that position. Patrick, thank you for the super chat. Was at the game. What a nightmare for the Lions. Well played. Well played. Luke, how are you, man? Thanks for the super chat. So, we won because the Motel Men performed last night. You got to play every night before a game now. I don't make the rules. Would that it were so simple. I mean, if that were the case, we'd be playing every Saturday night. But that's not how the world works, unfortunately. But I appreciate the sentiment. Austin, thank you for the super chat, man. It feels so good to have a pass rush. Also feels good to shut up all the Lions fans saying Myco isn't that good. Worth every penny. What I want to see, and I'm sure it'll come out either tonight or tomorrow, there's that dude on some Detroit radio station who was instantly talking about how the Packers overpaid and he's not that good and he's not going to affect the game that much, especially week 1 without training camp. Oh, by the way, he came in and wrecked shop against your team, buddy. Can't wait to hear your take. It's going to be a lot of fun. Steve, how you doing, man? Thanks for the super chat. Was at the game. Wowza. Met fellow CHTV member Dylan Byrne in body and face paint. So happy. Cheers, cheeseheads. Yeah, Dylan is hardcore. Shout out Dylan, no doubt. Tom, thanks for the super chat. Pass protection masterclass, O-line and backs, 10-10. Absolutely. Mentioned that in the open. The way that Jordan Love was able to stand back there and survey the field pretty much throughout the first half. Like I said, they made some adjustments the Lions did in the second half, and it seemed like they were doing a better job of getting push up front, making Jordan Love a little bit more uncomfortable. But, man, on balance, yes, totally agree. Excellent work. I mean, you don't have to look much further. Greg Rosenthal tweeted this out, and I absolutely love it because it really draws into sharp relief the difference in performance from both of the fronts. The Packers had 9 quarterback hits with 4 sacks. The Lions had 2 quarterback hits with no sacks. I mean, in one of those hits, what's crazy is in one of those quarterback hits, Jordan Love delivered a dime to Jaden Reed that Reed couldn't hang on to, but Jordan Love still dropping dimes the few times he's getting hit. Love to see it. But yes, for the majority of that game, they completely shut down anything the Lions tried to do with a 4-man rush. They had to start kind of bringing a little bit more pressure because they just were not getting home with 4 with Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, the plan for Hutchinson was phenomenal. They frustrated the hell out of him. And, yeah, that was fun to watch. No question. Ohio Mike, thanks for the super chat. Nags, how about them Packers? It was glorious and gorgeous today. This defense was what we've been looking for. They had attitude and backed it up. Go Pack, go. I love it, man. I thought for the most part, they did a great job of staying out of the junk, right? A lot of the stuff that the Lions like to do, jawing afterwards, trying to get in their heads. for the majority of the game, I thought they did an excellent job of just walking away and not taking it. Obviously the personal foul penalty or the unsportsmanlike penalty conduct penalty on McKinney. Man, I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I would suspect that should be offsetting penalties. The guy gets up and headbutts him, but he shouldn't be standing over him. He should just walk away, but the emotions of the game, they get to you. But that was early in the game. And I think, like I said, as the game went on, the majority of it, they were really good about not falling into a lot of that. Braden, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Hot start. Battled all 4 quarters. On to the Commanders. Go have some fun while you're in town, Nags. Drink a carry of the G for me. Physicality all season is the key. Go Pack Go. Appreciate you, man. And don't worry, I'll be having my fun. Absolutely. But first, always got to chat with you fine folks. That's what I do. Joe, thanks for the super chat, man. Did you see anything unusual the Packers defense did that prevented the Lions from throwing the ball downfield other than defensive line pressure? Well, what's nice is, one of the reasons you're able to play different coverages and as much coverage as they did is because they didn't have to commit numbers on the blitz or with pressure, right? You're able to utilize, all those guys, both at the linebacker spots and in the secondary, to play, whether it's cover 2, cover 3. I didn't see a ton of man, but, some of mix match stuff. But, the special thing they did was keep a top on most of it, a lot of 2 deep safety stuff, force them to throw underneath, and then rally and tackle. And when you have an effective pass rush, it makes it so much easier on the guys. I mean, look at the number of times the Packers were able to dive at footballs. And you saw Evan Williams get one when Micah Parsons had that quick pressure because they're on their front feet. They're not backpedaling. They're not flat-footed. They can be on the front foot because they know that ball is going to have to come out quick. And you saw it a ton of times in the second half where the pocket is just constricting. And Jared Goff knows he's got to get rid of the ball. But you know who else knows that he's got to get rid of the ball? The defensive backs. So, I was surprised that Evan was the only one who got his hands on one. But there were a couple other close calls. And I think that's the key. The ability for that secondary to tee off knowing that pocket will be constricted. And the quarterback has to speed up his delivery. That allows you to jump on some of these things. So I think that's something that both the Packers will continue to do throughout the season, but certainly teams are going to have to try and kind of counter it. Ed, what's up, man? An ecstatic Larry McCarron is a very cool thing. It really is, especially because he's so, I want to say subdued, but he is a calm guy. When we're out at the practice field or in the media auditorium, he never asks questions, but he wants to be there to listen and hear everything that coach says. And he really kind of keeps to himself. But then, you hear him on the call and he gets excited about a big play or the big win. And it's awesome. Rock is the best. No question about it. One of my favorite people covering the Packers, working with the Packers in any kind of capacity. Abdul, what's going on, man? Hey, Aaron, anyone surprise you today? I was surprised with how much Micah Parsons played. Obviously, he was on a pitch count, did not start the game, came in rotationally, seemed to be a guy who hadn't played a ton of camp or preseason because I think Matt even said he was kind of, getting a little tired there towards the end of the game. But then he came back in and he kept coming back in. That surprised me. It didn't surprise me how well he performed. And it didn't surprise me how it affected the defensive side of the ball for the Packers. It wasn't a surprise, but I thought, someone who deserves getting a shout out and probably might surprise other people is Quay Walker. I thought he played a really good game. And that's a guy who's gotten a lot of unjust hate in the Packers blogosphere, so to speak, and Packers Twitter. So I would just point out that I thought he played really well today. Relax. What's up, man? Bears still suck. Shout out from Canada, eh? What's up? I love that the Packers can beat the Lions and we get a Bears still suck chat. I'm down with it. You're not wrong. And how amazing is the hate watch going to be tomorrow night? Holy cow. Crazy. Chase, thanks for the super chat. Carry the G. That is all. Play the song. Drink the beer. Let's go. I mean, don't have to ask me twice.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold, and from the land of the green and gold.
Carry the G, the official beer of CHTV. I mean, outstanding. So good. So good, people. Absolutely love it. What else we got here, folks? Andrew Ware, belt to ass. You're not wrong, sir. You are not wrong. Portmaster, thank you for the super chat. I heard a lot of he's just one guy about Parsons. However, that one guy did quicken the clocks of both offense and defense. Achilles was just one guy. What a pull. Amazing. An amazing comparison. Well done. Imjin Rat, what's up? What a handle. Williams' pick was huge. Monster pick. Monster play. Completely swung the momentum of the game and kept points off the board. Probably the way they were driving, you would think, yeah, there's a decent chance they kept a touchdown off the board. But that's a huge play in the game going into halftime without the Lions scoring there. Big, big, big fulcrum swing. No question about it. Jason, thanks for the super chat, man. There are so many good things from this game. My favorite was the play of Wooden. Is that the Covington effect? I think certainly as we go on in the season, we'll get a better idea of what the kind of difference that Covington is making. But, man, Wooden had a really good camp, and certainly coaching will have a part in that. But he changed his body, and he is certainly a guy you would think is coming into probably the start of what should be his career prime, right? And to have a pretty significant switch like that, playing a lot more nose tackle than he's played in his first couple years in the league, man, that's a testament to his work. That's a testament to what he did, both, throughout the offseason, but then, yes, when he got in the building and worked with Covington and the coaches and the training staff, etc. But, man, it's hard for me to not give the player the credit because he's the one who has to do the work. The coaches can talk and give you, the technique and the plays and everything that's expected of you. Man, it's down to the player to do the work and to become that guy and be the one who develops. And certainly that's starting to look to be the case with Wooden, no doubt. Mike Witt, thanks for the super chat, man. Hey, Nags, you are number 2 checking in. After what Rap reported, I'm so glad we chose Micah over Trey Hendrickson. And I said it during training camp, Wyatt is getting double-digit sacks this year. Book it. I mean, we'll see. Great to start it off with 1, right? And, yeah, I'm thinking my conversation with Justice, like, Micah would certainly be the prize over Hutchinson because Hutchinson is a lot older, and you're going to have to pay him a whole lot. Who knows what would have been given up, but, yeah, Parsons is the prize. No question about it. Kenny Moore, thanks for super chat. I love seeing Sewell in compromised positions. Man, you could tell Parsons was frustrating him. There were a few kind of extra echo of the whistle pushes at the end of plays. Like, definitely going to be fun to watch those two battle over the course of these next few years. That's a heavyweight fight right there. Ryan, thanks for the super chat, man. Aaron, are we getting a Reggie post today? It was a great win, and we did deserve it. Go Pack, go. Thank you, Ryan. Unfortunately, that video is on my home computer, and I'm on the road. I'll see if I can download it when I get done here, and I'll get it up on Twitter at some point. Raha, thanks for the super chat, man. Great game. Pass pro is incredible. Run blocking has room for improvement. That's true, but I thought they certainly improved as the game went along. And, Jordan mentioned it after the game. They clearly came in, they being the Lions, with the mandate of we are going to stop the run. We are going to force them to throw the ball. There were a lot of kind of fronts and movements from kind of the second and third level from the Lions defense where it was tough. It was tough sledding there early in the game. But like I said, I thought they really started to move the ball well on the ground in the second half. Now, probably not the type of performance you'd expect from Jacobs at all. But there's certainly, like I said, especially kind of mid-third quarter on, I thought they were doing a really good job, especially in a situation where, you get that multi-score lead in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. They were able to salt the game away with the run game. I think certainly you want to see improvement there, but I think, they get paid too. And that was their focus. Johnny, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Stoney, thanks for the super chat. What's up, Nags? Love the play from the defensive tackle. Wooden, go Pack. Yeah, like I said, Wooden certainly, as the game went on, played better and better. And he's got big shoes to fill, but this was a really good first step. No doubt. Oh, boy, Ralph, this is an excellent question. how would you defend Daniels Thursday? He scares me. He should scare you. The game looks easy for him, and that's always frustrating. I think you'll see a lot of what the Packers did early last year when they faced so many mobile quarterbacks to start the season, including Jalen Hurts in week 1. It's all about rush lane integrity. There are going to be some frustrating moments where he is going to be able to make something out of nothing, where he does some magic with his legs or even with his arm. He's an excellent, excellent passer. So, yeah, man, it's a tough matchup, and I'm fascinated to see how Hafley deploys kind of both of the fronts, both the defensive line and the linebacker group, as far as making sure that whatever your keys are, whatever your calls are, you got to think first and foremost about how this kid can hurt you, both with his arm and legs. No doubt about it. Johnny, thanks for the super chat. Love you so much. Can you shout out my friends Jake, Kevin, and Lars? Jake, Kevin, Lars, shout out. Go Pack Go. Bucky Boyd, thanks for being a Carry the G Club member. Pass rush today versus Detroit, greater than pass rush versus Detroit every game the last 3 years. You're not wrong, except for one. They were excellent, they being the pass rush, against the Lions 2 years ago in Detroit on Thanksgiving. That game, they played really well up front. But other than that game, you are 100% correct. No doubt about it. Kevin, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate you. With the speed on this defense, how hard do you think it will be for opponents to run outside on them? Gibbs really struggled to bounce it outside. Reminds me when the Buccaneers had Devin White and Levante David. That's a really good pull. And that is something we talked about this summer as far as pairing Cooper with Quay Walker and their speed and explosiveness, athleticism that allows them to flow sideline to sideline, right? That's the hope. Now, it's just one game. We'll see what teams do to try and combat that speed. And usually that would lean into trying to run a lot more power, run at these guys rather than try and run around or away from them. But, for the most part, I think that speed is going to negate a lot of stuff on the exterior, around the perimeter, things that in the past we've seen the Packers have had some significant trouble with. You would think that those guys will mitigate a lot of that, and that's the hope. Mark, thanks for the super chat. It's nice that special teams being an issue isn't even on my radar anymore. I mean, good coverage units, great punting, perfect on field goals and extra points. Rich Bisaccia, contract extension, worth every penny. Love it. I love it. Mimsy, thanks for the super chat. What street is to be named Jerry Jones Way? That would be sacrilege in Green Bay. Come on now. JRS, what's up, man? Can you say what up to my wife, Jess? Jess, what up? How you doing? Go Pack Go. I hope you watched that dominant victory from the green and gold today. Rob, thank you for the super chat, man. I understand it's only week 1, but still, we own the North. Go Pack Go. It is one game, but it is a big game in the context of the division. The fact that they don't play another divisional game until what, November? Is it late October? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a long time. Was really going to sting if they had to hang on to that 0-1 in the division for the next 2 months, right? But also, just at the end of the season, man, it means so much as far as not only obviously winning the division, but getting that home playoff game. And for a team that was 1-5 against the division last year and a fingernail away from being 0-6, certainly feels good to get back to whooping divisional ass, especially at Lambeau. Teams coming into Lambeau in the division and coming out with victories, and Amon-Ra St. Brown doing his bullshit post-game and all that stuff that we've seen in the past. Goodbye to all that. We back to the being the Kings of the North. Hell yes. Soder, thanks for the super chat, man. Soder got her first taste of Carry the G. Compliments of Lieutenant Dan. Not normally a beer drinker, but her follow-up question was, you got more of those? Appreciate it. Appreciate you and Lieutenant Dan hanging out. We got the happy hour bringing people together in real life. I love it. Brian Price, what's up, man? I was told Lions were second coming of Christ. I missed that report, but it wouldn't have surprised me this summer, no doubt. Mike, thanks to Super Chat. Lions and their fans sure talk a lot of junk for a franchise that's never won anything. And why didn't Detroit get called for taunting? They were talking all game long. Consistency, refs. Yeah, but it's about posture more than anything else. Like, you can talk and talk and talk. As long as you don't make a gesture, stand over someone, blah, blah, blah. The NFL is so ridiculous in that regard. And I don't want to belabor that point. Chad, thanks again for the super chat. We're just tapping into the talent on this defense. It's only going to get better as the season goes on. That's the hope. Certainly the hope would be the defense continues to stack success, to quote Mike McCarthy, who was in the building today. Team recognizing the 2010 champs. Also, speaking of the 2010 champs, shout out to Tom Crabtree for coming out last night to the Cheesehead TV kickoff party. We had a Super Bowl champion in the house, the Cheesehead TV event. It was awesome. It was great to see Tom. It's always good to see him. Mike, thanks for the super chat, man. I really like Savion on kick returns. Thinks he will bust one this year. It was good to see positive aspects of the return game. Now, yes, they had a couple holding calls. You hate to see that, especially on the very first return of the year. But I agree with you. I think he's certainly got the ability to bust one, and he's fun to watch because he's so physical, but he's also way faster than I think most teams will realize until they play him. Like, he is a big human, and he can move. Nick, thanks for the super chat, man. Love the Parsons pickup, but hope it doesn't hinder LVN's development. Was really looking forward to see what he can do this year with the increased snaps. Nick, did you miss the game? Did you see how active LVN was and how he was able to contribute? Man, don't be worrying about stunting LVN's growth. We're here to go win a Super Bowl, my guy. And LVN's going to be a part of it. I got no time for that one. Doc Joe, thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate you, man. Look at this. So much to build on, no doubt about it. Dave, McCarthy didn't move back to Green Bay. He's been in Green Bay. He's never moved his home from Green Bay, even when he was coaching in Dallas. He's had a home here in Green Bay since he left as coach of the Packers. No, that's a true story. Any word on the Tom injury? Nope. No initial stuff from either coach or Jordan Love, though Love did say he thought Tom was going to be okay. Obviously, that doesn't mean anything. It all depends on what the medical folks say. Suspect we'll get some kind of update tomorrow because they're going to be required to have some kind of estimated practice report. I doubt they actually practice. They'll probably do a walkthrough, but because they play on Thursday, they have to put out an injury report tomorrow. So we'll get some kind of indication then, if not some kind of reporting before from either the beat or the national guys, both on Tom, but also don't forget Aaron Banks left this game with an ankle injury. So we'll see how both of those guys are. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out after this dominant Packers victory. Really appreciate each and every one of you who utilize Cheesehead TV in any way. And let's just marinate in it. Because we do have a short week, we don't get as much time to just kind of sit and enjoy the victory. But I tell you what, tonight, that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Be back at some point tomorrow. It's tomorrow Monday? Yeah, I'll have daily tomorrow. Won't be a daily on Tuesday because I'll be traveling back to New York. But we should have a lot more information tomorrow when I meet you for daily here at 4 o'clock on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy this victory. Go Pack, go.